What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to RGR Football. My name is Daniel Harms, film analyst here at RGR, and we are going to talk all about the Chiefs defense today. What's really changed over the course of the last month that's given them not just the confidence, but the ability to really show that they have the effort and the guys in the right spot. So that's really what it comes down to for this team. Playing against one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, one of the best offenses in the NFL. We have a lot of film to get through. We are covering three guys today. Some of the plays that they make, what they do for the defense, and how they unlock everybody else, really. We start off with the Sneed. We get into a little bit of Willie Gay. And then we go to Melvin Ingram and cap it all off with some of the big plays that they made throughout this game. And I'm excited, so let's go ahead and get into it. All right. Starting off 100% with Sneed. I almost did it again. I want to know, before we start off the play, that this is a very interestingly designed play from Dallas, okay? I really enjoy it. So basically, you divide the entire play into three separate identities. You have a screenplay one side, screenplay on the right, and then you also have an option to run the ball, okay? Very cool design. And let's go ahead and see the play map out, because it really does. They do a really good job of designing this play and forcing exactly what they want. Honestly, they make it so you have so much space to work with, and then it's gone in an instant. So what we see here is the Cowboys are going to run a power RPO. This is an RPO. You have block, look for the screen, block, look for the screen, and then you have ability. You have the numbers here. So you have a screen on the short side of the field. So where the ball is, this is the short side of the field. And then you have all this space on their left, okay? This is where the ball is going to go, because you want, obviously, the wide receiver to have the most amount of space to work with. And because you have to respect the ability to run the ball, you have a linebacker and a linebacker that are going to have to read the play. All of this works out perfectly for Dallas. They do an excellent job of, like I said, designing this play, spacing the field properly, and forcing the Chiefs to have to really show their hand, because that's how this works. You have basically two stack formations on either side of the field, and then you have still the ability to run the ball with Zeke and pulling of the guard and the tackle from the left side to the right. They get everything they want in this play, except for one thing. Dalton Schultz does not do a very good job of initiating contact with Sneed. And because Sneed is so smart, he's already reading the quarterback. He's reading the play too, because he understands a little bit of the designs of the screens that the Cowboys want to run. And he knows that this is a possibility heading his way, that the ball is going to be pulled on these RPOs, much like, Patrick Mahomes does. And so he's looking for it right here. So yeah, that ball was never actually created in a mesh point. So as soon as it's pulled, okay, Dalton Schultz has to be blocking. He has to be blocking. So he's got to start coming out and start blocking. But he's in a little bit of a disadvantage now, because it's a pass. So he's got to almost wait for Sneed to come downhill. But the problem is, he's got inside leverage here. And Schultz is almost like inching out to his left to try to let Gallup come out and upside, so he can kind of wall off blocker or the defender here. But look at all the space. Like I said, they did a very good job. Willie is reading the quarterback. He's waiting, but look at, you have so much space here to work with that you really should be able to get this play off. And the design is there, but Sneed, again, look at the instant reaction. And then boom, it's over. That's how quick he understands the play. That's how quick he saw it. That's how well prepared they were for these screens and these wide receiver screens. I think they only had one or two successful ones on the day, but the Chiefs corners were doing a very good job of undercutting them, getting into those positions and making things happen. That's a huge play. It's a huge understanding of what you're seeing on the field, understanding the design of the play, because they've separated three separate entities: ability to run the ball and an ability to get two screens, and using the understanding that your side of the field is the long side, and it would let Michael Gallup get into space and start to create some momentum and acceleration, and maybe take that to the house. So he does an excellent job of seeing it, understanding what can be happening, and then attacking, as he always does. He's so good at attacking. So here, back over to Sneed, who is down here on CeeDee Lamb, matched up one-on-one, close coverage, okay? This is not just an example of, Sneed doing a good job, but technically of this team defense aspect, that they've done an excellent job of creating a culture here. So first thing we'll go through because I don't want to mess it up. So yeah, Willie Gay, L'Jarius Sneed, all these guys, young athletic players, they do an excellent job on this play. But one thing that doesn't really come to fruition that I didn't see happening so much, Alex Okafor actually had some good snaps in this play, in this game, excuse me. This is one of them because Dalton Schultz, not exactly known for his blocking, he's going to wham, okay? That's where you take this, technically he's called a sniffer, tight end who's lined up essentially, behind the butt of the tackle. They call it a sniffer because it looks like he's sniffing his butt. That's just why they call it that. So it's called a wham block, is when you come over and you try to get this defensive end, okay? So you take this tight end, he's coming around, boom, wham. That's what it's supposed to be. So as this comes forward, they do a good job of trying to take the defense and move them to the left, to their left, excuse me, to have the run come back to the right, okay? Obviously, that's what you want to do with some of these jet action sweeps. And they want to these jet action sweeps, they want to fake the ball that way and come back the other way with the run. They do a good job, again. But this is really where the motion helps out the Chiefs, because Sneed, who now was in close proximity to Lamb, who could have been blocked by him much easier, is now creating a ton of inside leverage. But he understands he's reading where this ball is going to go. Okay, that's one thing about Sneed that you never fully appreciate, the mental aspect of his game, to play the run first, also to read where the ball's going, to identify where it is. It's so advanced for a guy his stature. He's a second-year player, but I think, like Ryan has talked about, playing safety for La Tech his last season helped him out identify where the ball is and see where it is in the run game, and it's really helped the Chiefs out. So, Lamb has to come all the way over here to try and block him, but he's not going to be able to do that. And then this is where Alex Okafor does a really good job, because he does get taken out a little bit, and the Cowboys' wall here is near perfect, okay? They do a very good job of walling this off. But when you have field defenders like L'Jarius Sneed and Okafor, who's going to force himself into this hole, really, he's now making Pollard have to figure this out. But you also have Sneed, who's unblocked and reading where the ball's going. He knows that Pollard's not going to come out here. He's coming down. He can't make that, okay? So he's going to come down, just make a play on the ball. Like, this is what they did a good job of sorry, that was Zeke, not Pollard. They did a good job of this all day. The Cowboys had, I think, 2 or 3 runs in the entire first half that went over 5 yards. And if you take out that 31-yard run that Pollard had that was off that fake pitch backward, and then he kept running instead of pitching it to Dak Prescott, they could not run the ball. They could not run the ball. They had 5-yard gains, a couple 5 yards, an 8-yard gain, I think a 7-yard gain, and everything else was 2, 3. Like, they were not able to generate a run game. And I've heard all this talk about how the Cowboys should have run the ball more. They did try to run the ball, but they just couldn't do it. The Chiefs were, like I said, initially this block is done well, and you have to be able to get Okafor punched out of here. You have to really hit that wham. And they couldn't really do it. And again, the field defenders of the corners and the safeties for the Chiefs were excellent in this game. And L'Jarius Sneed, one of those guys. Again, we're going to see him here, but he's not in a position you think he would be. This is something I've seen the Chiefs start to use a little bit more. And it allows them to play in a nickel where they have Willie Gay and Anthony Hitchens on the field, but they're still technically in base because they have what's technically 3 linebackers on the field. And Sneed's playing a pseudo linebacker position. So you have a fullback, a tight end, so you have the ability to still throw the ball. You've got 2 receivers out here. You still have Tony Pollard, who's a fast guy, Dalton Schultz, who's not a great blocker. So you fullback. So you still have the ability to throw the ball if you want to. So the Chiefs want to stay flexible. So they bring Sneed into a pseudo linebacker position. Okay, and that still allows you the flexibility. You got Rashad Fenton on the outside. You have Ward on the outside too. You can still maintain your 4-man front and your 2 safeties, but you have to be able to rely on him in the run game, right? Because they're still going to want to run the ball against nickel. So what does Sneed do? He makes himself, again, a fill defender. Okay. This is a play that probably goes for much more if Sneed is not triggering downhill as quickly as he does. And why do I say that? Well, that's because you're going to see it right here on this play around. On next, like I said, this run design, you're going to see a good job of a kick out and block down. You have a pull from the tight end, so they're going to try to block out here and get him out of the way, okay? They're basically trying to create this giant hole and then a cutback lane for Tony Pollard, who's going to have to press this lane and then bounce out, right? That's what they typically want to do. They want to trigger downhill so you can get it up to the outside. Go a little quickly. So again, Sneed coming downhill. What forces Tony Pollard, who wants to really hit this outside now, to have to press a little bit more to the inside is because you've got guys now flashing to the outside. This is something that the Chiefs front has done much better over the course of the last month. They're maintaining those cutback lanes, and then they're keeping their linebackers more clean so they can get into this hole. You see, they're trying to hit a stalk block or a crack block on the linebacker here with Michael Gallup, but Sneed triggers downhill too quickly to get into this giant hole because, one, he recognizes it. He also sees that you have your defensive end or defensive tackle maintaining those cutback lanes, so he can't get to the outside like he wants to. Because, like I said, he's a fast guy. He typically doesn't want to get to the outside. And then all it is, he's like, finally, I can get to the outside. So he takes a half second to try to cut back. But Sneed's going to stop him. So all it is that he just gets enough of him to allow him to not create all of this acceleration. Because if Tony Pollard comes through here and he's fully accelerating, he's going to regenerate a big play. Because, you're going to have to rely on Juan Thornhill, or there's a Charvarius Ward out here in basically one-on-one for a big play. So just, unfortunately, he doesn't get the tackle, obviously, but he slows him up enough for Jerron Reed to come off of his block and then get the tackle for a 5-yard gain instead of a 10-plus yard gain. That's all the kind of defense that they've had issues with in the first half of the season. They were giving up so many big plays on the ground, and they were just being gashed by some of these faster running backs, specifically in the flats. That hasn't been happening to them so much over the course of the last month. And now we're going to shift our attention to Willie Gay right here, because, like I said, we're talking about some guys that are younger and some guys that are a little bit older who are making impact plays and allowing other guys to make impact plays in this defensive review. So what does Willie Gay bring to the table? Well, we all know what Willie Gay brings to the table. He's got some instincts, and this is what I like about Willie Gay. Look at the frustration on his face. He knew how close he was, okay? But what I want to focus on with Willie Gay here is typically for a linebacker who's, for me, it looks like they're in zone, you're going to see a little bit of keeping your shoulders square to the quarterback, but still getting into your zone. He doesn't do that. He reads Dalton Schultz on this little curl route, and then he looks to Dak Prescott. But if he settles into his zone and keeps his eyes on the quarterback for this play, I think he ends up actually picking the ball off, and you're going to see why. Because here, see, he's got his body turned to his receiver. Dak is looking at him the whole way, okay? He's got him one-on-one the whole time. Like, he's just reading him. So that's where the reading of the eyes comes in handy. Because right here, he's hesitating. So if he's reading the quarterback here, just imagine that his shoulders are with Dak Prescott, his eyes here. And he breaks now, okay? So his eyes get there. It's just a slight hesitation. That's the reason he misses this interception. This is going to become more of an interception every time. This is the second time in this game that he nearly had a pick on this little curl route. They were prepared. They wanted that curl route. And, Willie's frustration shows, but he does a very good job still of getting to the point and getting to the catch point. He almost comes away with it. And as the season progresses, as his career progresses, he's going to make those plays more and more often. He did it once this season. He almost did it twice in this game. I think he's going to have more of those types of interceptions on those short intermediate curl routes. He's definitely going to find a way to come away with them more. Now, what does he do in the run game? He's a guy that they really like to do what's called just really showing the pressure. They like to bring Willie Gay down, especially when he's at the Sam, and bring him down at the line of scrimmage and do these simulated pressures. That's what it's called, simulated showing. So he's going to come down here, kind of simulate that he's going to bring pressure up this gap, force the offensive lineman to think a little bit harder. But here, Dan Sorensen's showing himself as a pseudo Sam because he can't really play the same position. He's not big enough. So this is a very good run play, or defensive run play, again, showing more team defense, because this is one thing that they've really improved upon this season, and just playing team defense. Like, this is the 3-yard gain, a 3-yard gain on second down, so it makes it 3rd and 5. They found themselves getting in these 2nd and 8s, and when they run the ball, they were able to create some 2nd or 3rd and manageables, which forced, the Cowboys to then, I believe after this play, they were in offsides, and then it was 3rd and 10. So all of this comes down to fruition with being in the right spot, knowing your responsibility, and just, understanding what you need to do. So jet sweep motion from Cedric Wilson. That's going to move linebackers back a little bit, and they're going to keep attention, obviously, on Wilson. So Anthony Hitchens is going to look to the outside just because there's always that option. He's going to take this ball and throw it to the jet sweep guy. Maintaining your discipline and understanding of the football, finding it, really, really important. We all know finding the football. So, Melvin Ingram's going to do some pursuit here. No cutback lane because you have eyes on the ball. You can't cut back here. In here, you got eyes on the ball. And you have, Willie Gay also identifying where the ball's going. The Cowboys pull their center and their tackle. They want to lead this to the outside, okay? They want to get this out here. This is actually a very good play by Dan Sorensen. He's going to come down into this gap. Instead of waiting for the center to pull around to him, he's going to initiate contact, get downhill quickly, and make this muddled a little bit. If you can generate this push, because if this center comes up here, Dan Sorensen ain't getting any downhill momentum. He's just going to get stopped, okay? So this is a good job of him understanding that he needs to get downhill quickly, okay? Again, if this center pulls up and gets to him back here a little bit, this is going to go for a big play, maybe even a touchdown, depending on how it feels. But again, Derek Nottie, look, you can't cut back here because I'm going to come off this block so quick and I'm going to get you. That's what he is. You have the help, and then you have Willie Gay. Just clean, okay? Something the Chiefs have done very well lately, keeping some of their pursuit linebackers clean so they can fill the gaps that end up showing in these plays. But you've got man on man here, man on man. So let's keep going. Right here. This is where Dan Sorensen actually does something well, okay? He flashes to the outside. Now, as a running back, you're taught to read all of this. Because right at this point, if Dan Sorensen doesn't flash right here, he's taking this right here. He's taking it right up between the tight end and the tackle who's out on Charvarius Ward. That's where he's going. But he has a responsibility to cut this back because Dan Sorensen has flashed into this gap downhill. It's just kind of an innate nature. He does not. He just has to read it that way. As a running back, you're taught to read these guys that flash to the outside, and that's what he does. Dan Sorensen does a good job of doing that. Even though he's going to get pushed into the ground, he creates this cutback from Tony Pollard. Again, still doing a good job of flashing to the outside. He wants to get here so bad. He wants to get to the outside, but he has to stop. And then you have Willie Gay coming back through, and then more help defense. Like, it's so much fun to watch guys do what they're supposed to do on a regular basis. And Derek Nottie, again, he comes downhill as well. He keeps going with the grain and just finds his way to get back on the football. He's always around it, man. It's a different kind of feeling when you see a run defense that was so bad early in the season finally start to fill gaps properly, start to keep their linebackers clean, and then Dan Sorensen, who's not a very good anything anymore, downhill. We've talked about him being only a downhill player. He gets downhill quickly, understanding that center's trying to get upfield on that pull. Very good job. Very, very, very sound run defense, something that we haven't talked about a whole lot with this team. Now we shift from Willie Gay to Melvin Ingram, who I told you I didn't think he was going to be a 100% 3-down defensive end in this team. He's showing more ability to be a 3-down guy, but they're still going to want to keep him healthy. This is one of those plays, this goes up for a loss, and you're going to see what I'm talking about here. So, before we do anything, you're going to have man here, essentially man here, and then jobs become apparent. Center understands that this defensive tackle, Jerron Reed, has outside leverage. So he needs to keep this guard with outside leverage on Jerron Reed. What he needs to do is push, essentially get in the side and the hip of Jerron Reed and push him to the outside. You need to swing him around, basically, to allow him to keep that outside leverage. Tackle has to do the same thing with the tight end on Melvin Ingram. He needs to push in this side hip pocket and force him to swing around so the tackle, or excuse me, so the tight end has a better leverage in the block so they can all get to the second level. So what do we see happening here? All right, so here's what I'm talking about. Exactly what I mean. They're all blocking down. He needs to push him from the hip side around here so this guard can continue to push him this way. Tackle has to do the same with Melvin Ingram, but he's doing a good job staying square. Now, this is where an instinctual linebacker can force the hand of a tackle a little bit. Willie Gay is going to press outside quickly. They know that he knows this is basically a stretch play. They're trying to get this to the outside with their speed guy, with Tony Pollard. Okay? You can tell by the way that his shoulders are. He's trying to read to the outside too. That's what he wants to do. Read, fighting inside, trying to keep that inside leverage. Now, Willie Gay is now showing like he's going to make something play here. So this tackle comes off of the block early. He actually doesn't do a very good job of pushing him to the outside at all. And then that's where Ingram splits in between the tight end here and the tackle. Doing a great job. But keep an eye on good old Derek Nottie, who's one-on-one, who's one of the best at keeping the blocker away from him and locating the football. Okay, that's what he does best. He's, especially in one-on-one situations, he's a great double team eater too. He can do that. But watching him find these plays is really, really impressive. But again, the flash from the outside to Willie Gay forces the tackle to come off the block. Melvin Ingram slips underneath it, and that's fun. That's team defense again. It just takes a couple guys to come off their blocks and read it and do it properly. And again, even though Willie Gay doesn't make this play, he makes this play. He's downhill quick. That forces the hand of the tackle to come off. And Ingram can then make the play, and Derek Nottie comes off too, because he's so good at reading where the ball's going. This is the kind of stuff that doesn't happen early in the season, that they don't do consistently enough, that they're now doing. Again, Melvin Ingram, down at the bottom of your screen. This is a quick one. Sorry. Doesn't show up in the box score, okay? Well, it might actually. It might be a hurry from Melvin Ingram. But this is textbook, okay? It's a textbook spin move. You're going to see it once more. But it's not just him. It's Frank Clark, too. Creating pressure and forcing the ball out. We're going to see one more time just so I can show you what I'm looking at here. Okay. So just a little bit here. This spin move is really, really good. It's going to force himself into the pocket. Frank Clark's going to come off the edge here pretty much unblocked. But what you're seeing here is that when Dak's got to throw the ball, like, no one's looking for it. Like, their heads aren't getting around. And as we take a little bit longer, like, excuse me, no one's looking for the ball. Like, he's coming up here. He's coming up here. He's coming here. There's no one looking for the ball. And then you have Frank Clark and Melvin Ingram, who has now flashed his face with that spin move. Dak's got to get rid of the ball. So where does he have to go? Okay. So he has to go into the flat. And that puts a great one-on-one player in space with a pretty good one-on-one player as well. But then help defense. Look at that. They got 1, 2, 3, 4 guys outside of Willie Sneed. Willie Sneed. I did it again. Always do it. L'Jarius Sneed. I apologize, L'Jarius. It's not my fault. You got a Willie Gay and a L'Jarius Sneed on the same team. It confuses me sometimes. But this is that spin move. This is why the spin move is so good, okay? Initiating contact, digging that shoulder into the chest, okay? And look at this bend. This is the kind of bend that you don't see from a Frank Clark, from a Chris Jones, from any of the defensive ends that the Chiefs have, okay? When you initiate that contact, the tackle is now in a position of putting his weight forward. You can see it. His head's down, his shoulders are down, his hips are now out. He's putting all of his weight forward here to block you. And that's what Melvin Ingram's really good at. He's really good at creating And there's that spike, that ice pick they call it. You take that offhand and slam it into the back side, wherever, of the tackle to know you're ready to shoot out of it. Okay? Frank Clark's coming around here. This is just, like I said, it might come up as a hurry because he's coming at you. And this, I guess he does a pretty decent job of recovering. But like I said, the ball's got to come out now, but no one's looking for it, okay? They actually did a pretty good job of communicating and passing off the crosser here. But Dak's got to get the ball out because you've got pressure in your face now. And this is where we get to see, like I said, help defense coming late. But Sneed is doing a good job of fighting this guy. Man, this is one of those cool things that I really like to watch. The hand fight. We'll go back and watch it through one more time. But Sneed is an excellent in-space tackler. And when Cedric Wilson takes his hand and shoves it off, he's so quick to adjust what he's doing. Instead of tackling up high, he comes down low. And you're going to see it here on this play. Wilson kind of shoves the hand away, but then he goes to his legs, okay? He gets him, and then the rest of the help comes. Rest of the help is there. He does enough to hold him up, just enough time. But this is team defense. Again, we've stressed that. This team defense is playing so much better. Now, the last two plays of this film review are people making huge plays. 3rd and 2, okay? Willie Gay. We're focusing on Willie Gay. He's right here, okay? We're going to watch the play through, and then I'm going to tell you what actually happens, because this is really, really impressive. It's all about innate understanding, okay? Celebrating. Great. So, 3rd and 2, okay? They want to get the ball out quickly. And Willie's responsibility is to the flat, is to this defender. So, he reads. He's short. He's reading. So, his initial instinct is to try to come around, as most of it is because he's got the speed. But he realizes now, okay, this is the pick play. This tight end is trying to get in my way so that I do go around and I get caught up, and it's a quick first down to Ezekiel Elliott. So 3rd and 2, you're trying to create, a punt. You're trying to force, and Dallas is trying to get momentum, okay? They have none. It's only a 10-point game. So what does he do? Instead of continuing outside, he realizes and cuts underneath. Boom. He has that speed to get to the sideline, and then he makes a short tackle in space. Something that a lot of players can't create on Ezekiel Elliott is a short arm tackle. He usually runs through arm tackles. But Willie Gay, not allowing that nonsense. He just undercuts this, gets it into the flat. Boom. No gain on the play, and they punt. That's a huge play. Just ignore that other mouse. I don't know why it's showing up. Huge, huge play. And then this is the play that seals the game for the Chiefs. And I told you guys on the Sunday night game, or the Sunday night tape, the live stream, both live streams, that I believe that I can't help myself. That L'Jarius was picking this off anyway, and he was. He's just running a little slant route. Dak doesn't even see him. He doesn't even see him. He's just undercutting this route. You got guys converging on it. He just throws it. And like I said, Sneed is already in position to pick this off. His hand position changes a little bit there as it comes through. And yeah, it's over from there. So like, this is a complete team defensive win. It was, stars had their games. Chris Jones had a game. Sneed had a game. And I think that Gay had a very, very impressive game. And that's what you need in some of these big time spots. Like, that's just what it is. Like, they created a ton of positive plays for the defense. They created a ton of 3rd down stops. So important that this team keeps playing team defense like that in the run game and generating those pass rush situations and continuing to get home. As much as they're creating pressures and hurries, getting home is just as important to the confidence aspect as it is going forward. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. I know it's a little bit of a longer film review, but I just had to get all 3 of these guys and some of the plays that they made in this game into it. And it was just so much fun to go through it and watch it. I've watched that defensive performance at least 2-3 times now. So much fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. In the comment section, make sure you guys tell me who you want to have the best of the rest of the season. Like, who you think is going to have the best defensive performance over the course of the last, 6 games of the season now, I think. 7-4, 11, 6. Yeah, 17. I was right. So yeah, did the math right. Over the course of the next 6 games, who do you think is going to have the best defensive performance? Put that in the comments. And you guys have a great day. It's always a great week to be a Chiefs fan, and we're going to have a ton of stuff for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.